Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Paralife series. I'm Summer Mortimer, and today joining me is the chef de mission for the Beijing Paralympics, Josh Dueck. How are you, Josh?
I'm well, thanks, Summer.
Now, you've had quite an established career, but let's go all the way back to the beginning. How did you become disabled?
There's a couple ways to look at that one. From the outside looking in, I came into a big ski jump with too much speed. I over-rotated a front somersault, landed on my chest, and that forward momentum dislocated my back, and that left me paralyzed from the waist down. And that was back in 2004.
That sounds like a crazy accident. Skiing is something that's been in your blood. When did you first fall in love with that sport?
Well, I first was introduced as a kid. I saw the kids in my community skiing at a local ski hill in Kimberley, and I was enamored by it. And I always wanted to try it, but it was just outside of my family's reach. And it was a school field trip in grade 7 where I was introduced to the joy of sliding down the mountain. And came home from school that day and I was instantly converted. I'm like, this is how I'm going to spend the rest of my life. I'm going to live in a van down by a river. And my parents were just like, what? They were happy to see me filled with joy and hope, but they also saw like a slightly different forecast. Like maybe you want to go to school and get an education, but that was 25 years ago. And my life has been dedicated to ski and mountain culture for that whole chapter.
That sounds like a field trip that completely changed the course of your life. Your first Paralympics was in 2010 in Vancouver. What was that experience like for you?
Amazing. To be able to compete on home soil and achieve a little dream that I had since I was a kid to represent Canada on the big stage was incredible to, again, realize that in my own backyard. And further to that, it was also a bit of a healing opportunity because a lot of the people that were with me when I broke my back were also with me again when I was competing for Canada in Vancouver. And so there was like a full circle experience for all of us and a feeling of like, it's going to be okay.
That support system has carried you through your career. And back in 2012, you were the first person to ever do a backflip on a sit ski. Did you expect to get the amount of attention that you did?
Not a chance, not at all. I think my mind was for sure fixed on the process of doing something new and innovative and that nobody had attempted before. So I was definitely looking at the all aspects of the project itself, which was to do the backflip. And when I landed it, it was for sure a relief to kind of knock off one of those items on the bucket list. And shortly thereafter, Ellen DeGeneres gave me a call and said, "Hey, I'd love to meet you. I think your story is pretty cool." And that had obviously a pretty significant ripple effect around the world and did wonders for our sport, that's for sure.
I can only imagine how much it would have amped up the expectation for sit skiing and all the stunts that you can do. How did you train yourself to be able to do a backflip?
Process orientated for sure. So I surrounded myself with people that knew way more about the sport than I do and about acrobatics. So there was coaches from the Canadian freestyle team that were encouraging me on the process. We used the dry slope at Woodwards and Copper into a foam pit. And then we took that basic formula and applied it to snow on the airbag at Whistler Blackcomb. And then when we really felt like we had a good opportunity to succeed and we've eliminated as much of the risk as possible, then it was go time. And I'm super happy that it worked out. And I'm glad that we were able to kind of go through that safe process to really figure it out.
That training must have transferred over to Sochi when you competed, winning 2 more medals, including your first gold. Talk to me about how the experience was over at that Paralympics.
Sochi was so different from Vancouver in the sense that there was a lot of challenges to even get over there. And so in my case, I didn't have any friends or family, so that was a very different atmosphere for me. I also had a chance to ski on the 10-year anniversary of when I broke my back, and that turned out pretty good. I was able to channel that energy from friends and family at home and that internal energy of overcoming some great fears and apply that to winning a silver medal for Canada, which was pretty special for sure.
And balancing life and sport is never easy. It's something that athletes always have to find a happy balance of. What do you do and what do you focus on since retiring? Do you have any hobbies?
Well, yeah, and you're right, spot on about the balancing act is very difficult when you're an athlete. You invest so much into your sport that other things do get left behind. One of the reasons that I retired in 2014 was to put my energy back into life and family, and it's an odd one. Summer, I started a family, so my daughter, who's now 8, was just born just after the games or just before the games in Sochi. My son Hudson's 5, so I've like learned this whole new way to live and to be a parent. And at the same time, my parents passed away. So I was like becoming a father, but also losing another part of my family. So that was very consuming in the last couple of years. Outside of family, service is pretty considerable for me. I love groups like High Fives Foundation that create empowerment opportunities for other people that have had life-altering injury. So being a part of those communities and sharing the things that I've learned and things that I've been gifted in my life is such a real treasure. And I'm glad that I'm able to prioritize that. And work-wise, I'm now the executive director for a provincial sport organization, which is actually back to my roots, which is freestyle skiing. So now my life is definitely built around bringing people new opportunities to be involved in sport, whether it's adaptive sport or traditional kind of Olympic pathway sport like freestyle skiing.
My condolences on losing your parents, but it sounds like you have a wonderful family that's growing and you're so actively involved in the sport community. How do you encourage people to try out sport and see the benefits both physically and mentally?
Well, that's a great question. And so one of the things that we focus on in both worlds, so whether it's like the High Fives Foundation or Freestyle BC, is looking at what barriers are currently in place. The adaptive world, I would say equipment is often a big one, and just simply being able to access the right equipment and the environments to go out there and have fun. And in the traditional sport world, we're all kind of feeling the weight of the cost of living. So how can we find different ways to be reducing some of the financial barrier to ensure that people can access sport? The encouraging or the words of wisdom would simply be, and I think runners got this really dialed. You know, there's a moment of clarity while you're running, and you got your heart rate up, and the endorphins are being released. Whether you're running or skiing or finding time on a yoga mat, I think the basic ethos that I like to live by is we need to temper the body in order to still the mind. And I feel now more than ever that is so relevant, right? To find time to take care of your body, get your heart rate up, stretch it, be dynamic, whatever that may be, and then find time for stillness. And for some people, that's playing a musical instrument. Some people, that is just sitting in meditation. Temper the body to calm the mind.
That's a fantastic phrase, and it's so relevant to today and the past few years with the pandemic. You're heading out to Beijing very soon. What has been the biggest challenge for you and the team?
Well, yeah, we all know the most obvious elephant in the room, which is managing our health and safety through a pandemic. And now, as we get even closer to the games, that becomes more of a game of walking on eggshells to make sure that our support staff, the teams behind the teams, and most importantly, the athletes stay healthy so that they can get there. And once we're there, I really feel that our athletes are positioned quite well and supported quite well to have a great time and perform to their potential and really motivate everybody around us through their life and actions.
And all challenges aside, what's your message to the team?
We've been crafting this for a while, and it's not just my message, but this has come from the athletes and the teams themselves. And the ethos or the mantra that we're operating on right now is to elevate, to motivate, and to unite. And again, more than ever, we really need to honor the responsibility and the privilege that we have as athletes, and see our actions on the field of play having an effect off the field of play. So elevating others through our hard work, our motivation, and our passion, to motivate others to be their best in whatever that may be, and then to unite. I feel, again, now more than ever, this is such a great opportunity for athletes to use sport as a catalyst to bring people together.
That's fantastic. Congratulations on your sporting career. Good luck with the team heading over to Beijing. You're a wonderful chef de mission. I can't wait to see how the team performs. Thanks for talking today.
Oh, thanks, Summer. Appreciate you having me.